Well, my first question is about the different point of view of the people. So the question is, if you were a journalist, what kind of malware do you think is more excited to write about? And it was the same case if you were an end user, a channel partner, or a vendor? Or in each case, the malware more excitement is different?
If I were a journalist, I will write about several types of malware, which is most amazing. Maybe not just about malware, but about cyber attacks. First of all, of course, about cyber weapon and Stuxnet as example of that, and possible scenarios which can happen. But I am security expert, so I'm not going to disclose the scenarios which are here in my mind, because I think it's from the protection point of view. But it seems that this topic, the malware, the warfare, is getting more and more hot, and there are more and more articles about that, and there are more attention to this area, because, well, we depend on IT, we depend on computers. Computers, they manage everything, almost everything. It's not metrics, still it's not metrics, but computers are everywhere, and we really depend on that. Unfortunately, there are bad guys able to make a serious trouble to us. Second, I'd like to write about financial attacks, and not just online banking, which is it's like a flu. So it's everywhere. It's a seasonal disease, but the season is 24 hours a day, 30, 31 days a month, and 12 months a year. But about some very unique attacks. For example, attacks on ATM, when banknotes are infected with malware, which is watching your credit cards data. There's such attacks which are very unusual, like the attack which happened last year. Then criminals, they managed to access the computer in the cash machine, and they changed their exchange ratio for United States dollars and rubles. That happened in Russia, and they made it on a premium level, so they changed about $800 to equivalent of 30-something thousand dollars. That was very interesting attack, but very curious attack. Next, if I were a journalist, I will write about mobile malware and about the strategies and businesses cyber criminals they run in this new area, because it's growing very quickly, and I don't have any predictions about their future of mobile malware, because there are so many ways, so many opportunities for cyber criminals. So there's three major areas. If I were a channel, I would write about consumer threats. If I'm working with consumer products, explain their situation not from the malware point of view, but from the point of view of data you have on your computer, and your losses if you are infected. And it's not just about computers, but also smartphones. So the consumer, the home user, as an owner of notebook, tablet, smartphones, how deep, how much could be affected by cybercrime by different cybercrime businesses. So to explain your home and the fence around your home, and how deep you are in a trouble if there's some unwanted visitor inside of your fence. Working with enterprises, I would write about inside attacks, which are happening. Well, I'm talking about enterprise attacks, which are also sometimes are linked with insider attacks, and the ways how to protect and having not just their technologies and products, security technologies and products, but also their corporate regulation, and having their being kind of advisor how to build a corporate structure in a better way, more secure way. If I am channeled to government organization, to industrial systems, I will write about the structure and the regulation for and the security standards for industrial systems, for government systems, writing more about secure environment, which is designed to be secure, explaining that their industrial, military, government systems, of course it's much cheaper to make it on Linux systems or Windows based, but it's not secure, and it's time to have more regulation for this critical environment and to have maybe some special standards. Well, military has it, but not most of industrial systems.
Yes.
So if I do your job, I will do it in these ways. 3 ways for talking about malware and cybercrime, and 3 ways talking about channels.
Okay.
So I have half of your salary for this interview.
About these social engineering types of attacks, they have very cultural issues. It's more inside the people world than the software. No, it's, for example, we have the Worldwide Cup, the soccer cup, or Maradona or Messi, something that is fashion on the moment. You have a new wave of social engineering attacks. Of course, your product tries to stop this kind of attack, but there is another way, a cultural way, that you have an antivirus in your mind, not just in the computer.
Yes, well, actually, that's it's a good idea. It's the right way, and we do that to educate end users. Well, we pay a lot of attention to that, and we have special education classes, and we have a special press tours where we explain the social engineering space. But anyway, many internet users, they are victims of social engineering because we are humans. We trust, we follow some information which we think could be interesting for us. We are just curious sometimes. So social engineering, is working and will work in the future. And it's like nothing special with that. It's like every important event or situation or disaster takes a lot of attention. And that's why the cyber criminals, they use this interest from internet users, well, from everyone.
But always it's based on a confusion, and that you confuse something with other things. So always the word for me is that you confuse that this is not orange and you think it's orange, that you think it's from Maradona, it's not from Maradona. The basic idea is always related to confuse something with other thing.
Yes, sure.
And so we try
it's no way to stop that. It's no way to fix that. It's possible to make it's less dangerous. It's a good idea to have to explain people that they have to use their brains when they click the link, so they download some data from the internet. We can reduce number of victims, but it's not possible to stop all of them.
In your products, you have a good idea that you have the windows with the green border, and so you feel more secure. You are in the green line, green environment. So what's born? When happened this idea to you? For me, it was a very good idea, but
To use green or to use border?
no, to use to the people feels different if a Windows is protected with this green
Yeah,
green
but
line.
actually it's a teamwork because we were working with write messages to our customers, to the market, to explain who we are and what we are doing, and that was a teamwork. It was not just marketing, but also engineers explaining their ideas of the new technologies on the new ways of protection, like building the border for the endpoint. That's okay. That's a border. We have to use that. So green. Let's have a green border.
Really? Yes, it was a.
We are quite lucky to have to copyright green color for antivirus. So I say that we are triple green. First of all, we are green because our technologies reduce traffic. So we filter parasite traffic, we filter parasitic applications. So networks and endpoints consume less electricity.
Yeah, understand.
Second, we have green boxes. And third, we are green.
Well, Randy talks on the morning about the new products to the small businesses. No, for me it's very important. It's especially for the channel partners to really reach this segment. Do you think it's a new market for the company, or you are just follow a trend that you started some years ago?
Actually, we follow the economic situation in different countries, because in some countries their national economy is mostly concentrated around big enterprises, like in the United States, like in Japan, and at the same time there are countries which have a lot of small and home businesses, and I know data just about one country, Italy, and reports are that about 90% of the national economy it's a small and home businesses, 90%.
Yes.
I heard that in Brazil, for example, also their national economy is mostly based on small businesses, and it's something between home and enterprise.
Yes.
And, this to protect the systems they use, there is no need of their enterprise products, because they don't need the dedicated security engineers. They are not professional in all that, so they don't really need to be security professionals. So that's why we made this a special offer, like same level of protection, but with reduced management functionality, without extra load on their management system. So to have a light management, like very light enterprise style of same level of protection.